Greetings everyone, and welcome back to the Fraz X-Wing channel. For those of you who have been living under a rock, the lockdown is very nearly completely gone. And the good news is we've been back in the store playing games for a few weeks, and which is great, isn't it, Richard?
Brilliant. Much more like it.
Yeah, it's how it should be. Thanks for joining me, Richard. I appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Yeah,
always nice to talk about some X-Wing.
Yeah, really appreciate it, mate. Today's game is one featuring your good self and your brilliant first order against Wes and some brand new Empire from the Skystrike box.
Yeah, this was definitely my first time flying against the new version of the Interceptors, the new configuration. And I've only just been meeting the Defender, so it was very interesting for me.
He's configured all his ship, and do you know what? I really like both your lists, it's got to be said. A few minor things I might change because I'm me, obviously, but I think they're great, and we'll see how things work.
First thing, just while we can still see the setup, I'm still not 100% sure on Null, one of my first order ties at the bottom left there, and when they set up. So Null's ability. Null is pilot skill 0, and the ability, while you are not damaged, treat your initiative value as 7. So the question I tried to figure out on the internet is, does Null therefore deploy at initiative 0 or at initiative 7? Does it go on the board first or last?
That is a really good question, actually. I hadn't thought about that.
I think it's first, because otherwise the ability would probably be worded the other way around.
Yeah.
That's the argument I saw on the internet, and it also hasn't got the word setup in the ability, and somebody pointed out that on the internet that if an ability is relevant during setup, it would have setup written on it.
I think that makes sense, actually. There must be an FAQ somewhere around to just guarantee that, but that makes a lot of sense that it doesn't say setup, and therefore null deploys at I0, and then immediately as the game starts, I'm I7 until I'm taking cards.
Yes, that's what we played. That seemed to make sense.
Yeah,
that means
I'm going to go with that.
Null's at the bottom of our screen as we look at it then, because this is Commander Malorus moving.
Yeah, anyone in the comments is welcome to argue about that. Please feel free to start any argument you like. About X-Wing, obviously, not just...
I was going to say, within reason.
Yeah, within reason. So far we've got Malorus. Only Malorus has moved. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah, because Null's 7. So you're already going mad. So we got the Interceptors moving, and in comes... Oh, and Terex, yeah.
Terex actually... I deliberately bumped Terex into Quick Draw to sort of slow Terex down. Because I didn't want Terex to end up all by himself being shot by Interceptors.
Yeah, I think that's quite good. That does make sense to hide your support ship a little bit and just keep him behind. But yeah, I like that.
And these Interceptors are coming in very fast.
Yeah, they've all done 5s. And the Defender's also barrel rolling. Boosting. And that just leaves Null. And 5 straight as well. So all quite fast.
Yeah. So both Null and Commander Malorus have got afterburners on them. Because there's no natural boost on those ships.
Not as expensive as some other ships. It's like 4 or 5, isn't it, to afterburner these guys?
Ooh, I can't remember actually. I haven't got it in front of me.
No, quick check. No, I know like Vader and stuff is 6, so I think.
Does it scale with initiative? Is it the higher initiative your ship is, the more expensive it is?
I think so. It's initiative, or it's only going to be initiative or agility.
Which actually goes very well on Null then, because then you'd be getting it for the price of a 0 initiative pilot, if that's the case.
Yeah. That would be strong. I'm wondering whether you might bring Quick Draw back in and try and get behind the rocks, or if you go for a head-on battle sort of in that middle section.
Personally, I think Quick Draw wants to be quite aggressive.
Yeah.
She's kind of her own mini swarm in a way, because if you're forcing your opponent to shoot at Quick Draw, you do get a lot of shots back. Because the ability, where's Quick Draws? I haven't opened up Quick Draw. But whenever you lose a shield, you may spend a charge, and you can perform a bonus primary attack.
Yeah. One recurring charge, isn't it?
Yeah, so you got 1 charge, so you can do it once per round.
Well, so that makes sense. You get 1 bonus attack per round, so 1 charge makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah. It also clashes a bit with the Special Forces Gunner, because the Special Forces Gunner, if you have your turret arc in your rear, that gives you a bonus attack. But because you can only ever do one bonus attack per round, there might be situations where you actually you don't make the most of those, because you might be trying to trigger both Quick Draw's bonus attack and the bonus attack from the Special Forces gunner.
Potentially, but I actually think you've just got more options, and I think that's good.
Yeah.
So you could Special Forces gunner, say, fire front and then Special Forces at the back, but with Quick Draw you can fire twice at the front.
Yeah.
So maybe that. So I think
that's what you do more often. I think it's very quite unusual to see the forward shot and backward shot on the Special Forces gunner, because you're not very often positioned immediately between two ships.
No, I suppose not. But yeah, with Quick Draw and the Special Forces gunner, the options there. So
yeah. The other thing I've got on Quick Draw, because you've labelled Agent Terex's upgrades. Do you want to go through why you've labelled the upgrades?
Yeah, sure. So for those who don't know, Agent Terex has the ability to dish out his illicit upgrades to First Order ties and Special Forces ties. I've labelled them so we know which one has which. So Quick Draw has got the inertial dampeners. Commander Malorus has this contraband cybernetics, and Null's got Dead Man switch. So Malorus will be able to perform red maneuvers and then do actions. Null will deal damage when he dies. And Quick Draw is able to spend a shield and do a 0 stop.
Which does trigger Quick Draw's ability.
Yeah, exactly. So I really like that one, actually.
And I realised this evening, I played a second game with this list. I realised that actually having an I6 who can change their mind at the point they activate, and instead of doing a sloop or anything, do a stop instead. Being able to change your mind completely like that is really powerful.
Yeah, no, I think so.
Especially if you get a free shot into the bargain.
Yeah, I think it's a winning card all round for Quick Draw.
Yeah, so a lot of the list is me trying to think of useful ways of using those illicit upgrades that Agent Terex brings, because it's a really interesting concept, because illicit upgrades are often so interesting.
Yeah.
And then you can dish out one at a time, so one to each, maximum one each on the First Order and Special Forces ties.
Yeah.
So I've kind of gone for those combos. What I'm using there is the biohexacrypt codes, where I'm putting a target lock on Quick Draw from the shuttle, which means I can coordinate by breaking that lock, even if I'm beyond. Is it range 2 normally for coordinate?
I like the codes. I think that's
I think they're really useful. The problem is on the G-class shuttle, it's stressful to do that. Target lock is red, and coordinate is red as well.
Yeah, which is why you've got the tactical officer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so potentially helping out there. I like what you're thinking.
Thanks. It was just quite fun to think of weird combos, especially Null. People have the option of shooting Null to reduce the initiative down to 0, but if they do that, they're bringing Null close to exploding. So that's why I bought those 3 rocks with me, because what I want to try one day is just ramming Null into a rock and blowing up spectacularly.
Kamikaze Null.
Yeah. The other option is leaving the Dead Man switch on the shuttle, which is a medium base. So if that goes, it's only got 7 hit points. If that goes, you've got a medium base ship, and you've got a lot more at range 1.
That is true, actually.
And then, of course, you could be damaging Quick Draw, which would trigger Quick Draw's ability. The silly illicit things go on and on.
That doesn't sound as silly as you think. I think you've got about 3,000 more options than you might have otherwise.
Yeah,
so I really like it.
I've got loads of lists at the moment that I want to play that are a bit like this, that have sort of quite silly combos with the illicit upgrades.
Yeah.
So you can put a rigged cargo chute on the shuttle, but that you're not allowed to then put that on a TIE fighter, which it makes sense, because why would the TIE fighter suddenly grow a cargo chute? But you can leave that on the shuttle.
Yeah.
And then have the option of spitting out.
What's the requirements for
it says, I think it says medium or large ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. It does make sense both canonically and logically then.
Mm-hmm.
Tournament possibility potential for one.
It worked quite well. It worked quite well.
Oh, this does.
I still prefer the Upsilon shuttle.
The last time you used that on me, I still have nightmares about that thing.
For a start, obviously there's the 4 dice shot. That's the main thing.
Oh, yeah.
But also when you compare its action bar to the G's action bar, I can't even pronounce it. G. The Z class has 4 actions. 2 of them are red.
Yeah.
Natively, and the Upsilon has 5 possible actions, and they're all white.
Yeah.
And 5 is a lot. There's a lot of things you can do with the Upsilon shuttle.
Has it got more red dial though?
Yeah, the dial is less forgiving.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. It's only got 1 blue maneuver that's of speed 1. So normally, if you want to relieve stress, if you can't just go straight 1, you have to do a 2 straight or 2 bank, which can really leave you pointing in the wrong direction.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting actually, because you've got 1 is less actions but more manoeuvrable, and 1's better actions but less manoeuvrable.
Yeah, and 4 dice shot.
Yeah, and 4 dice shot. I don't think you can really argue with that, can you? Though?
No, you can't.
No.
Yeah, we talked a lot about my list.
Yeah.
You know more about the Empire than me. So, what do you think of the new stuff Wes is using here?
I really like the new stuff. I think the defenders are defenders. I think the interceptors are really good. Predator is nice and simple, and the sensitive controls is really good. Although you have to play slightly differently than you may be used to. It's different to the auto thrusters. I certainly think it's easier to use them on lower initiative ships, so 4 and below. But that's not necessarily true. So don't be afraid of using them on the higher ups.
It reminds me of the ability on the E-2s.
Yeah.
The ability to do a change your position right at the start of the round, cause some bumps, then do your maneuver later on.
It is, and it's taking the ability, the auto thruster, and moving it from post action to before you move. So, and that is really good. Vader is very strong in the he's always been strong, but he's very strong in the defender and very expensive. This is the first time I've seen him be used with the elite card.
Oh, we've got some shooting as well.
Who's that?
That must be Null.
Yeah, Null into the saber. The others are out of range.
Unsurprisingly, it didn't hit.
Yeah, no. He's got an evade, so he's not going to be doing a strong attack this round. Quick Draw has got focus, so potentially a much stronger attack. 3 dice because of the gunner.
Yep.
And lots of eyes, so a good spend for 3. Ooh, Oh dear. Just one evade. That's not good on an interceptor. Already points.
That's bad news at this stage, isn't it?
Yeah, that is a bit unfortunate. But Wes did go for a reposition instead of token, so... But also sucks. And Vader is out of range. Malorus is the wrong way, obviously. And he's out of range too. So it's just the damage boy
facing the wrong way.
The revenge. If he does deal any damage, he's going to trigger quick draw. There's 2. And you got a single. That's a shield down.
That's really lucky on quick draw.
That's you
lose your shields
want to heal a single shield each time, and just so you can get that single that next attack. And you've done it. So there's another 3 dice, and 2 of those are hits. Oh, 2 evades. He lives.
Nice.
He lives.
Yep.
I think that's fair after the first shot.
Absolutely.
As an early kill is, you kind of feel a bit bad when it's all over so quickly.
You do, yeah. And we know what green dice are like.
You do. And the other thing is, if it comes up your way early, you just know that sooner or later they will fail you, and that will hasten the failure. Yeah. Terex is also definitely facing the wrong way, so no shot from him. Yeah, so as I was saying before, Vader is really strong, even though he's massively expensive. He's 115 without anything. So over half your points, chaps and chapettes, on a small ship, which is a lot. I've not seen the config used before this game, and I thought the config was really good on Vader, but the issue with the config is that of course you need to have a missile or cannon equipped as well.
So you kind of have to keep piling points onto the ship.
Yeah, you do. Now, cannons, and you can get an inexpensive cannon or missile, that's not a problem. But if you do, you want to be using it every round. You want to be firing the cannon and then the bonus primary as much as possible to get in the lot.
That's another argument. That's an argument for using cannons, not missiles, because cannons are unlimited, aren't they?
Yes.
Unlimited ammo.
Yeah, I would definitely go for a cannon first. I'm up. I would like to try a missile. Potentially something like clusters maybe that have a lot of charges.
Clusters would be hilarious. Clusters would be... what would clusters be? Would that be I take 2 shots on my clusters and then I...
Again,
No, that wouldn't work, because that would be multiple bonus primaries.
Yeah,
multiple bonus attacks.
So I wouldn't take it for the bonus attack. I would take it for the number of charges. So you could have 4 attacks from that and just use the original single and then use your bonus primary.
That's true. That's quite interesting.
Why that might be good is because whenever I'm firing cluster missiles, the first attack is always the good attack because you've got the lock and you can do your re-rolls. But then your second attack is always the one where you've got nothing. So it ends up being worse a lot of the time. If you're not using the cluster bonus attack and you're getting your primary bonus attack, you potentially have 2 stronger attacks because you obviously want to try and keep that lock on the ship so you can do that.
Yeah. Are there any the Empire's got those tech upgrades that interact with target locking, haven't they? So Can you put those? Do you know if you? What's that? What is it called? The advanced targeting computer?
The advanced targeting
the fire control system or something.
Oh, yes. I think the advanced targeting computer is the ship ability for Vader's advanced tie.
That's right, because I often seen people put them together, don't they?
Yeah, they do. But yeah, I think I've used the fire control system a lot when I've done this new Defender, and I think that's a really good combo. And again, if you want to keep your lock on your ship, a single reroll is really good.
And then, of course, you've got on Vader, you've got 3 force to go with it.
You have. And you can only spend his force while attacking, which does seem like you're open when you're defending. But if you're focusing and or evading, depending on whether you're using the full throttle or the elite TIE Defender, you just use those tokens to defend, and then use the force when you're attacking. And it basically makes Vader untouchable.
Yeah. Unless
you roll 3 blanks when you defend. There's not a lot you can do against him.
Well, that's why they made him. They nerfed him. It's a shame that Vader's arguably a weak force user, because his force tokens are less good in this ship to make sure he can't dodge you all the time.
I don't think it's that much of a nerf. I think I am yet to destroy Vader in the Defender.
Oh, here we go. Look at that. That's the Interceptor did its systems phase boost.
Yeah.
And has then swung right past quick draw.
Brilliant. And he's right up against that rock. He hasn't touched it.
He hasn't touched it, which is really good sort of slipping past me there.
Yeah. And you've still got another, and he can still barrel if he wants to. Well, he's barrel rolling now, but he didn't have to barrel roll because he could just do it in the system phase.
That is true, yeah. You could have evaded or focused at that point.
Yeah, I would have done.
Alive.
I think that's what I would have done.
I think this is where Wes remembers. I think this is where he remembers that he meant to do a boost in the systems phase.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we both make mistakes like that in this game, and because it was just a friendly, I said, go back on it. Let's say you did that in the systems.
You guys did really well. There was only one major thing that you each did, and this was Wes's thing. But you'll see in a sec why he definitely wanted to do that boost.
Yeah. I mean, would you be flying these interceptors this aggressively if you were flying this squad? I suppose the first one started aggressive and has now sort of got out of there, but this one's also been a bit aggressive.
I don't know, actually. I would like to say I'd have been less aggressive with the interceptor on the left, the damaged one.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to tell when you're an observer, not player. So I'm not going to say Wes has done anything wrong here. He just got a bit unfortunate on that first shot. Yeah.
And that's Malorus taking a target lock there.
Yeah. And his other interceptor now is in a real good position.
Yeah.
I think he's got a token as well, so he's not... It's 2 attacks, but he's got a focus, so I think he's going to be okay. He's certainly in with a decent chance.
It's a pretty fast... I chose quite a fast move from quick draw there in case the first interceptor had tried to block quick draw. I thought that would get past. But I knew that I could instead of doing the 2, I could have done the inertial dampeners to stop instead.
Yeah.
So what I was saying earlier, I had loads of flexibility at that point. Either do a bank or just stop and take a free shot.
And you do again because you've got. See, now I'm a little bit more worried about that interceptor. He's got three boys on him. I mean, Vader's there for backup to maybe help Quick Draw, but Quick Draw has got all 3 of the Empire ships on target.
Yeah.
Because you've rotated to potentially take out the interceptor behind you.
Yeah. It's she, remember, I think. From what I've seen on the internet, I think Quick Draw is a woman.
Quick Draw's a she, okay.
Yeah, I think so. So I can't remember what I did with her. I think I do a focus, and then I think what I would want to do was coordinate some actions from the shuttle, give Quick Draw focuses and target locks, rotate the arc if necessary to keep the damaged interceptor in arc.
Yeah.
I can't quite remember which actions of those I actually did, but yeah, this is, I said earlier, it's unusual to see the Special Forces gunner having the front and rear arcs both with something in them. So this is the first time I've ever seen it happen.
Yeah. There's literally nothing you can't do here, is there?
Yeah, I was quite pleased with this. I felt this had worked out very well for me, because any other ship and Wes's damaged interceptor would be safe.
Yeah.
Unless I'd called it and done a Talon roll, unless I'd turned around with another ship.
Yeah.
Unless I'd absolutely called that move on the interceptor, which took me by surprise. I'd not expected that.
Yeah, and it looks like Null is going to bump into that interceptor.
Yeah, I think that was it might have been Wes's plan all along. Because I put those afterburners on there, I wanted to do fast manoeuvres.
Yeah, because you need
too tempting.
Yeah, it's interesting putting them on ties. It's not something I've seen lots of, so I can't really comment and say if it works well or not. But you've used one charge, haven't you, on the 2 TIE fighters? So
I don't think I've used any on Null at this point, because I whizzed in with Malorus first.
Yeah.
Then came back a bit.
Yeah, Malorus has done it.
I don't think Null has. I think I wanted to there. I was pretty confident I was going to be able to get Null behind everybody else. But
yeah, that would have been nice. Unfortunately, it looks like he's... Oh, hello. Looks like he's taking a rather strong attack from Vader.
Oh, is Null shooting? Is this Null's shot?
I think Null's still in. Only a crit, though. And Vader is safe.
Yeah. The thing I realised about this squad is there's not much to actually improve the firepower on those first order ties. So that's 2 hits, is that?
That's hit crit from Quick Draw. And Vader still dodges that, so apparently we don't need tokens on Vader.
Bonus rear shot.
Bonus rear shot. Now it's range 2, but you did... I think you're rolling 3 dice.
This is where I cheat, isn't it? I cheat.
This is your... Yeah, here you go. This is your little error. But I don't... It didn't really matter, I don't think. Because... one evade. Even if you had 1 less dice, he would have still killed that interceptor.
Okay, well, let me off.
Yeah.
But that felt really, really lucky, especially since I think it had arc on Malorus through that rock.
Yeah, I think you might have just had a corner. But
yeah, so I was feeling very relieved at this point.
Yeah, that's quite an early kill, so... That is, and an interceptor that's in this list. That's a fair big chunk of points. But again, you've got Vader. Everything's in Vader, isn't it?
Yeah.
Vader is firing into Null. I was going for the reroll. Okay.
Oh yeah, that was unlucky. I've definitely had the dice favouring me.
Yeah. So spend a force to turn the blank up, which Vader can do. And that's 3 out of 4 though, and that's a lot of blanks that Wes rolled. So it's strong. And you've only got 1 evade. So that's shield down and a face-up card. Which is stunned pilot.
Which is that the one about you take damage if you roll over obstacles?
1, yeah.
Which actually, I remember thinking now, that's kind of what I want, because I might want to blow Null up.
Yeah.
And having a guarantee of damage on an obstacle.
So you could potentially deal 2 damage with stunned pilot if you went over an asteroid.
Yeah.
And then trigger the dead man switch. That does sound kind of cool, actually. That does sound fun.
Now this is, I'd made a mistake at the start of the engagement phase. I'd forgotten to activate Commander Malorus.
Yeah, you trigger in Malorus as well.
So again,
so what does Malorus do again?
So I'll read it out because it's a bit. So there's actually loads of Commander Malorus. You can also get her in the Z-class shuttle and as a crew member.
Yeah.
But in this one, the ability is, at the start of the engagement phase, you may spend 1 charge and gain 1 stress token. If you do until the end of the round, while you defend or perform an attack, you may change all of your eye results to evades or hits. And
nice.
She's got 2 charges, so she can do that twice per game.
Yeah, they don't come back.
Yeah, and it's really strong. It's basically spend a charge and gain a stress for infinite focus tokens.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Which is why I target locked as my action.
Yeah, and she's now damaged the other interceptor, who has gained a consult fire.
Yeah, so again, just really fortunate dice there.
And that triggers right now.
That's when you might. Is that when you might take damage or you might get stress?
Yeah, before you engage, you have to roll the dice and you take whatever damage you roll, basically.
Yeah, it's brutal to get that on a 3-hull ship.
Yeah. Fortunately, Wes survived that console fire. He's now rolling 2. Manos has got 3 dice and comes up with 2 evades. Oh, there you go.
I really felt I didn't deserve that.
No, well, Terex is still out. That's the end of that one as well.
Yeah, that was. I think I definitely came off quite well from the dice there.
Yeah, potentially Null could have been easily killed by Vader. And Vader still did really well, though.
Was Vader just out of bullseye, so we just missed the heavy laser cannon bonus? Yeah,
the bullseye arc is just out, unfortunately. But again, I think with the elite config, you want a full front, a normal front arc cannon or missile. I don't think the heavy laser works with the elite tie. Maybe
if you were facing a big ship, like maybe had Wes come straight down the side and gone straight for my shuttle, where you've got the shuttle's not very agile, it's got a medium base, you might well get easier to get a bullseye shot, so easier to get the 2 shots against it.
Maybe. Yeah, on a small ship it is harder.
It depends a bit on what you're flying against. So what would you do now if you were the Empire? If you evaded with that interceptor, what would be your plan?
I think your choices are left or right. Three right. I can't quite tell if I think a hard right will fit, or if I'd have to bank right, and then go into Terex. If I went left, I think I'd sloop left, so turn around and have my back on Malorus and Null. Vader. I don't think Vader needs to go too fast. You could do a bank one. You could even straight two, because now Null is going to move at initiative 0 instead of 7.
Null's moving first.
Yeah. That has changed things as well, actually.
It does. It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. If Wes dials in a bank one, though, the only concern is how fast Malorus goes, because Malorus could come in a 2 or 3 and possibly block that.
Yeah. Malorus could definitely try and block Vader, and then Quickdraw comes in for a shot.
I think so. Maybe the Interceptor could try and block Malorus.
And then Vader gets a shot on Malorus.
Yeah, maybe. That could work.
Well. The Interceptor hasn't got many slow manoeuvres, though, has it?
No, it's hard 1 and then everything in the 2s. But a 2 bank might be okay if Wes wants to try and block Malorus. I think that would be okay.
And Malorus is stressed from
she is stressed. You might have to squint, lovely viewers, but there is a stress token behind that wing.
It's almost like I hid it deliberately from the camera.
Yeah, we ignore it. It's not there. I did have to do a double take and check that when I was noting down how it all went through the first watch through.
The Interceptor could be boosting or barrel rolling before activation. That might make a difference.
Oh yeah.
Problem is,
here we go. Yeah, it's happening. So looks like Wes is heading to the right and going into Terex then, like I said. That is the one thing I've noticed with the sensitive controls, is that you don't necessarily know if an Interceptor is going to do the 3 sloop or is 4K. If it's an auto thruster, but once it does its system boost or barrel, okay, right, it's clearly going to try and clear that.
Yeah,
not that weakens it in any way, I must add.
Yeah, I mean, it does become less predictable, doesn't it, the Interceptor?
A little bit, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean this nicely. I have spoken to a few people who initially did kind of slag off the new configs, and I was like, no, stop it. And the thing is, the only advice I can give is that it does feel like a bit of a different ship, so don't fly them like you're used to flying them. But they are really good. I can promise that. Look, we've got a head-on battle between Terex and the Interceptor.
Yeah, you're right. It really snuck through those rocks.
Yeah. I'm not sure who I would vote for in a Z versus Interceptor.
Well, as soon as the Interceptor's behind the shuttle has nothing it can do.
That's true.
It can hope it's in range to jam. That's about it. Oh, and that's my hard turn from Malorus.
That's your contraband.
I use the contraband so that I can still have an action because I'm still stressed. That's a white hard turn.
Yeah.
But I remember this because it looks like I called Wes's move. It looks like I was thinking he might go left, and I definitely wasn't. I was actually... Wes and I were looking at that gap in the rocks for the same reason. Neither of us kind of wanted to be facing the other ships. Well, there's other immediate ships.
Maybe getting away from Vader as well.
Yeah, so I was trying to get out of the way. I was hoping to get out of the way like that. But because I'm Initiative 5, I'd seen what the Interceptor was doing, so I thought, right, we'll use the Contraband Cybernetics and we'll get a focus token. I could actually have double stressed Malorus, I think, and just use Malorus's ability again, but I didn't want... Once you double stress a ship at this stage...
It's like Panic Pilot. It's difficult to get out of that once you've got multiple stress tokens. So that does make sense, actually. But yeah, I know what you mean when you get that, when you don't anticipate something happening and then it ends up working in your favour. It is a nice feeling.
This worked really in my favour.
Yeah, look at that.
I hadn't predicted either of those moves from Wes.
Yeah. Yeah, so no actions from Vader. Does he have a shot on Terex? Maybe? Hard to tell at this angle. Because even though he's bumped, Vader is still very strong because of his ability to turn up a blank. But with those two ties behind him, he might potentially take something. So here we go. Quick draw firing. Single Pringle. Nope, still taking nothing. That's 2 evades. Let's see if Vader's in. You know, I really need to get myself a range ruler that separates, or even get some. Or maybe I'll find some of the core stuff and just chop up a range ruler into 1s and 2s.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Having an extra set of chop.
Yeah, the cheapskate option. So Vader.
My rulers are a bit faulty. They don't come apart and go together easily.
Yeah, you got a dud one, which was you had 2 dud ones actually. So Malorus has got a hit, and the Saber Squadron is taking another damage.
That's it, off one hit.
Yeah, these poor interceptors have not.
Their dice have been rubbish.
They've not pulled their weight. I think it's got to be stern words back at the Death Star before it explodes. And it's into Terex from the Interceptor. That is a decent chunk, you know. Your shields are down and you're taking a card. But it's face down though. That is something. I played a game the other day and got hull breached on a big ship, and it was just painful.
It's painful, isn't it?
It was painful. And now
Terex going back.
Yeah, that's still pretty good. That's 2 hits. Oh, what? That's an eye and 2 blanks.
Oh, and it's down.
It's already dead.
Their dice were awful, both of those interceptors.
Yeah, absolute rubbish. I mean, you'd hope for a bit more than that, I think.
Yeah.
mean, they are squishy, but yeah, those were some poor dice.
There you go. Wes's range ruler just split up nicely there.
Yeah, it did. No issues whatsoever.
It is really nice having one that is just a range 1, just a little stick that's range 1 in length. You can just drop it down and see what's going on.
Yeah, because you can kind of tell if it's range 2. And to just drop a little 1 in is very helpful to... Yeah, right. Yeah, it's clearly range 2. It's not long enough to be 3. So Vader is still on full health. He bumped, he had no tokens. He couldn't have spent the Force if he wanted to. I think these 122 points are proving very worth it at the moment.
Yeah, he is brilliant. This is pretty cool, right? This is the sort of thing you imagine that Darth Vader doing, is just facing off against 4 ships.
Oh yeah, the scene in Rebels comes to mind. Even though it's the wrong TIE fighter that he's in, that scene is the epitome of Vader, where the single fighter drops out of hyperspace and just absolutely decimates a capital ship and then just leaves. The golden age of Vader.
Yeah.
It's sort of prior to 4, maybe up to the start of 5, actually, I think. When Luke starts getting to him. But the hallway scene in Rogue One, the whole of the Siege of Lothal Rebel, Season 2, Episode 1 and 2 of Rebels, just a massive powerhouse of Vader.
When you can properly believe that he's just evil. Evil. Just very ruthless. Efficient.
Yeah. It's one of my favourite lines just describing... Is when they describe the cold, and that's when Vader turns up. They say,
When's that?
They say, the whole sort of build-up is when they didn't feel it when the Grand Inquisitor was there, but when Vader's there, they say, "Do you feel that?" And they say, "What? The cold?" And then it cuts to Vader, and he's just standing in the doorway and just deals unstoppable damage, and they do literally nothing to him.
Yeah. That's I think that's Null staying out of the way and clearing a stress, because now that I really don't want that dead man switch.
No, because it's not. Dead man switch is an odd one now, because you'd have to get into range 1 of Vader to then die and do something about it.
Yeah.
But in an ideal world, you'd like to be surrounded by enemy ships, and when you die, you shove a damage onto each of them.
Yeah, against a swarm it can be hilarious.
Yeah, it's more of a swarmy card than maybe a taking out a single ship card.
Yeah, and that's why you'll probably see me bring Dead Man Switches back again to Entoyment to see if I can come up against the swarm and pull that off. I think I did a stop with the shuttle there.
Yeah, is he stressed? Yes, he is. So
which I actually do quite a lot, because it can't turn around. I tend to stop quite a lot with the shuttles.
Yeah, I think that's really a good. I think it's a good choice now. You've certainly got some nice arcs on Vader at the moment.
Yeah. I think Malarus did something slow to clear the stress.
Yeah. Yeah, you've used your contraband, so we need to get rid of the stress now. Can't tell where Vader is going. He's going to the right. Okay. I think he's touching the right. Oh, Wes.
Yeah, whizzing through there was like definitely felt right. If that was still the interceptor, it could have got right past the shuttle.
Yeah.
Or maybe. I mean,
I'm sure he could have done. I think he could have been in the top corner and recovered a little bit and then come in for another strong attack. He's taken damage on the asteroid. He's lost one shield.
Where's his dice again being horrible?
Yeah. The one time you don't want to hit is on an asteroid.
Yeah.
So quick draw first. Going for 2. Oh my lord!
Oh, he's having a.
It's another
such
2
a
shields.
bad round.
Oh, I'm feeling for Wes at the moment.
Yeah.
He's got 1 shield left. Ignore the fact that there's only 3 shield charges there. Wes didn't. You did notice in time, so don't worry. There will be a 4th shield down in a moment. Now Vader. Here we go. Range 1 into Terex. Now if you spend.
Got a bit overkeen there. I still do that sometimes. It's from my days playing Risk. Yeah, Risk was the first modern board game I got into.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited to roll my dice that I just throw them down.
It
at the
is
same
exciting,
time
and in this case, Vader had 2 eyes, a hit, and a blank, and that means all 3 fours gets him 4 hits, and then Terex is blanked out.
That's a really. That's Darth Vader dealing with a ship he doesn't like, isn't it?
That's just game changing, isn't it?
Brilliant.
That you think it's potentially all over. You think, I can handle this, and then he comes in and goes,
boom.
Nope.
Yeah, I could have done all sorts of that. I could have done some jamming.
Yeah. You could have broken off lots of things there. I mean, it's now really close. You're still 4 points in the lead. But if Wes keeps flying Vader like that and shoving that many hits into the ties,
I just need to take Null down.
Yeah, take Null down, and then he's
half points on quick draw. Another shot like that, and he's got half points on quick draw.
Yeah, I think if he gets quick draw, it could be all over.
Yeah, if he gets quick draw, my only choice is then if he halves quick draw and I half Vader. I mean, half on Vader is 60 points.
Yeah,
right there. So I'd need to then half Vader, I think.
Yeah, you absolutely would.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to come down to half Vader or dead quick draw. Vader,
looking at it now, I've just noticed this setup. Quick draw is almost exactly half the points of Vader.
Oh yeah.
There's kind of it's a bit complicated because we didn't talk about the illicit upgrades that Agent Terex dishes out. So he dishes them out after setup, which I think gives you some choice over what takes which upgrade, if you wanted that. I didn't. I knew exactly where each one was going. It seems like the logical way around.
Yeah.
But the result is that the result is that they go back. So although Quick Draw's been using the upgrade, Terex still had the upgrade for points purposes. So actually, you could say Quick Draw's a few more points than that in practice today. But
yeah,
that's why Wes scores the points.
Even though Terex is dead, do the ties still have their illicit upgrades?
That's a really good question. I think
when
they
does it specify returning those cards to Terex?
End of game, so the bottom of Agent Terex's ability, end of game, return all illicit upgrades to their original ships. So they do keep them until the end, even if Terex goes down. That's a good point. Yeah, it makes Terex a really interesting target because that is what is that 10 points worth of upgrades? The contraband, it dampens the Dead Man Switch. It's not quite 10, I don't think, because the Dead Man Switch is only 2.
Yeah. Yeah, Dead Man Switch is very cheap.
But yeah, it can be. That can be a lot of points on a ship that actually is not. And in order to make it useful as a support ship, I did feel I needed that tactical officer, which is another 6 points.
Yeah, if you're going to be doing a lot of coordinating, which you had set up with your codes as well.
Yeah,
it does make sense.
We've got some afterburners on Malarus.
I have a list with a Reaper, and that would be a similar case. You need to have, if you're going to do a lot of coordinating, you've got to take the tactical officer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's frustrating having both the target lock and the coordinators red, especially when I want to be using those biohexacrypt codes. That could mean
around that.
Stress for the target lock, and then later on in the game, stress for the coordinate. Without the tactical officer, or I think you could put the targeting computer on.
Yeah.
Without those, it'd be really.
Yeah. Quick Draw.
I think Quick Draw.
Yeah, he's gone through the rock, and he is safe. So
she is safe.
Yeah.
So no bonus shot.
So no damage, no bonus shot, which is.
I'm not sure who's unhappy about that.
Yeah.
About that lack of damage.
Again, another case where you wouldn't mind a damage.
I realise actually in this squad I've got a lot of reasons to damage myself.
Means you can be a bit more carefree, I suppose. We spend half our times trying to avoid getting shot, and this is a case where maybe you might occasionally want to be shot.
Yeah.
But hopefully Vader is going to do this hard turn and get right out of arcs. Oh, I think he's still in. Maybe a boost.
He's got lots of choices though.
Can't tell if a boost right's going to make it, and I don't think Wes can either. I think left might be alright.
Yeah, looking at it left.
Yeah, I think you want to go left anyway, don't you? And then just get straight into Malarus.
Yeah, Malarus is looking vulnerable like that.
She's still on full health though.
Yeah, being low initiative. Yeah, true.
That's
true. And I've got elusive.
I love elusive.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not quite true. I love elusive until it fails me. So, for some reason, you go through a streak of it working. You roll it, it comes up, evade. You do a red, it recharges, comes up, evade again, and then you'll go through a little period of it not working. It's never sort of one or the other.
Left boost.
But that's right. Again, who knows?
Yeah, you want to be in a position where you have a focus token, really, don't you? Because then re-rolling a elusive die.
It makes your life easier, certainly.
Evade. It's going to give you what you need. So I felt it comboed well with Malarus' ability anyway. But I mean, a lot of things combo well with that ability.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Yeah, Quick Draw has not got a shot. Let's see what Vader can do with Malarus. I think it's range 2.
I'm just not looking happy about this.
Only got 1 force, so potentially not that strong, even though... Yeah, spend a force to flip that up. We've still got 3 though. I mean, can't argue with that. And you've only got rolled 1 evade.
I remembered elusive.
You did. And it worked.
Do that. Yeah. I've had such good dice this game.
Only a shield. I really like Fanatical on these ties. I just think it's such a simple but effective.
What does it do again?
So it just turns an eye to a hit, but it only works when you haven't got a shield.
Oh yeah.
So it's first order only, but it works really well on the normal ties because you've just got the single shield, and if you can just get a little damage to flick that off, suddenly you're a little bit stronger in your attack.
Yeah, suddenly you're just target locking and letting that take the eyes up. Yeah. But the funny thing about the First Order is all their ships are shielded. So
yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's why they have got a shield though.
Yeah.
Because of Fanatical.
They're the most sort of uniformly shielded faction. All their ships, they pack out with shields and even these basic ties have things like target locks.
Yeah. For an evil villainous group, they take good care of their pilots.
They do, yeah. And actually, the First Order ties, I think, are really good. Even the basic one. Hang on, let me just. Where's the Epsilon Squadron Cadet, the I-1?
Yeah.
I think that's 25 points. I think if this website I'm looking at is up to date, it's really cheap.
Yeah.
For 3 hull and a shield and 4 possible actions. The dial's really good. The dial's got blue. That hard 2 is blue, which is a big upgrade on the basic Empire TIE fighters.
It really is. Having at least one hard turn that's blue is a big thing.
Yeah.
Makes it a little bit like an interceptor in a way.
Yeah, and that's how I've flown them here. That's why I've stuck the afterburners on them, because they're going to serve as the interceptors. Much as I'd like to bring Von Reg or the Silencer, they're not allowed to take the illicit upgrades. So, but actually, I mean, I'm having a lot of fun experimenting with the different First Order FO fighter pilots, like Commander Malorus. I didn't realise how good she was until I played this game.
No, she's really good. Having only recently become a convert to the First Order, I really like some of these ties. Like Midnight, I think is really good. I've
not used Midnight yet.
Midnight's really good, actually. I really like Midnight.
And what's the ability of Midnight? Something about target locks.
Yes.
An I6. It's the only I6 in this ship.
So she's I6, and when she has a lock on an enemy ship, while she defends or performs an attack, the enemy ship that she's got a lock on cannot modify their dice.
Yeah, that's very powerful.
That is strong, isn't it?
Just assuming you haven't had to spend your lock to shoot at it.
Yes, and I did have that case, so I initially I was going to keep the lock, and then I rolled about 25 blanks. So I thought I'll spend the lock, and obviously then the ability no longer triggers. Still did some rather nice damage there.
What other upgrades can you add to try to get multiple target locks? I'm sure there's something.
The only card I can think of would be the R3 Astromech, which none of these boys can take.
No.
You ever find it weird that the Empire does actually have astromech droids, but none of their ships can take it? Maybe the TIE Aggressor being the only one, I think.
Let's have a look.
Certainly none of the First Order at the moment can. You see them wandering around Rebels and lots of the shows and movies, but on the ship, the actual ships themselves don't have astromech slots.
Yeah, that's a good point. Darth Vader's got his own astromech, isn't he?
He does, and he uses it in the early days when he's still flying Eta-2s. Going again, and Vader. I mean, Vader's got zero force, and he's still pummeling 3 shots into people.
Yeah, he's good.
He is so good.
He's dangerous. Null is really ready to blow.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm not sure how I feel about it anymore. Because Vader's 1 damage off being halved, right?
Yeah, no, he is.
So a little a cheeky turn onto that asteroid field. I've still got the crit on Null.
Yeah.
I can guarantee damage on Null.
Yeah. Do we think Null is going down?
I mean, it's tempting, isn't it?
It is tempting. He's still alive at the moment. Malarus firing into Vader. And he's not taking any damage. Null shot into Vader as well. Right, yeah, so Vader took absolutely nothing there. That's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Because Wes has not been giving him much tokens. He's been relying on sheer dice.
And also, I suppose my ships were very spread out. I deliberately got Null out of the way, so that I couldn't blow up and damage myself. So that means that actually, I've not exactly had any range 1s or any opportunities to block.
No.
Vader's had a lot of space to work with there. Quick Draw's in the wrong place. And Quick Draw doesn't only boost. I mean, thinking about putting some afterburners on one of these SF ties.
Yeah, it's.
I think they can take them.
Yeah, they can.
I think putting it on Quick Draw would mean you wouldn't be able to have the shield upgrade.
No, you wouldn't.
So that, probably not on Quick Draw. You probably wouldn't want it on Quick Draw.
That's the thing. They are a bit slower, but the thing is that all Vader has to do is just do that hard 3, and most of his problems are gone. And that's one good thing about this elite config, is that it raises the difficulty of your K turn. So you no longer have the 4K that's white, it's now red. Obviously, you can't increase and decrease to purple, even though that's higher. So the 2 stays. The hard 1 and 2s, they come down to white, and the white 3 goes down to blue.
Yeah, that's nice. A blue hard 3 is very unusual.
Yeah, it really is. And going so fast and doing a blue is really strong.
Yeah. So it looks like I've bugged out with Null. I've used my afterburners and a barrel roll to hopefully arc dodge. Yeah,
he's doing a Monty Python and running away.
Boldly running away.
Boldly ran away. Oh, that's that copyright. I don't know. I don't know if we're actually allowed to post it. I suppose it's not an issue when you're not monetized, but there we go.
I think there's also a time factor, isn't there?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think I've just kept the stress on Malarus. I've thought at this stage she's double stressed, because last turn I must have used her ability for the second time.
It didn't matter. This was the thing. You triggered them, and it didn't really make much difference. You still had, whether you'd spent it or not, you'd have still got the same result, unfortunately. So I think Malarus didn't pay off for you as well as she might have done.
Not in that stage. She did very well at the start of the game.
Yeah.
The ability, I suppose, hasn't made so much difference, but that lucky chasing down that interceptor, where I was able to use the contraband cybernetics to still have a focus token.
Yeah.
That's where she really shone in this game. Now she's just like, she knows she's second rate compared to Vader there.
Oh, of course. And Vader's done the 4K, which is now stressful.
But I think we're lined up in bullseye.
Quite possibly, I think. Although, I think you've got choice on who you shoot.
So is that try and work out range on quick draw.
Yeah, I think it's 3. I think you're in. Oh yeah, that's Vader's lock as well.
Well, they target locks on Vader now. Yeah.
So quick draw shooting Vader. Bends the lock. Gets another eye. Spends the focus to mod them all up. So you've got 2 crits and a hit. And absolutely nothing from Vader. So there's the blank out.
That's really unfortunate.
That's big points right there.
All 3 of Wes's ships have had at least one horrible.
Yeah, they have
horrible green dice.
And now Vader is wounded, and he's structurally damaged as well. So
it was looking really
1 away.
And if anyone can do it, Vader can, right?
I think, yeah, Vader can quite easily get a kill out here. He definitely has the HLC on Malorus.
But has he got the lock? Is it that you need a lock?
To do the double, yes.
Tap.
So he can't do the double, so it's going to be one or the other.
So Null is out of arc.
Yeah, at this range, HLC is a good call because you get the 4 dice. And I certainly would use it here because Malorus has got the 4 dice could kill Malorus. So
no tokens, no ability.
No token. Well, he's got a force. He's rolled 3 hits and turns it up to 4.
Ouch.
So Malorus needs some good dice here. And gets a single evade.
Just not enough.
It's not enough. She's dead.
Down in the last final minute.
In the final round of the game, Vader gets halved, and Malorus gets wiped out.
Just obliterated.
Absolutely.
Double stressed and then destroyed. I thought Null would have been the one to go.
Null potentially should have been the one to go. But unfortunately, Mr. 122 points in the corner there did get halved. And so what potentially could have been a sneaky win for Wes there, unfortunately, he's just come out behind. But even so, that's a close one, you know?
Yeah, that last shot, if Quickdraw hadn't halved Vader, then that would have been Wes's game, wouldn't it?
Yeah, that was definitely all to play for until then.
And that tells you something about Darth Vader.
Well, yeah, true.
He can happily hold the floor against 4 ships.
Oh, he certainly can. He is very strong in the defender. I think that last attack was really unfortunate for Wes, because when you get your shields down on a defender, it's really tough because defenders are so expensive.
Yeah.
Now, I really like using Volscaris, and even he naked is 82 points. So
they are expensive.
So they are, yeah, absolutely, they are expensive. They're worth it, but if you take the damage, then they're costly.
Yeah, it was really interesting to fly against it, actually.
Yeah.
When you consider the defender and it's got its white 4K, it's such a unique ship. I think they've done very well to make it still feel kind of unique, still feel very relevant.
Yeah,
in this new version.
This new version is really good.
You know, it's not. I can't say if one's better or worse than the other. They're just very different and both very powerful.
No, I actually don't think one is objectively better. Actually, the normal defender, you've got more evasive abilities. You've got full throttle. With your elite tie, you've got more attack.
Yeah.
I think if Wes had a different cannon equipped that wasn't bullseye only, he would have been doing a lot more damage. But because he went for the heavy laser, he ended up not triggering the ability as much.
Yeah, not for these tiny ships.
No. Either take away the elite tie and just have the HLC, or change your cannon. Apart from that, I think that's still quite a strong list.
Yeah.
You did brilliant, of course, Rich. You did really well.
Thank you.
Anyway, guys, that is the end of today's game. Thank you all for watching. Thank you, Richard, for your company.
Thanks, Fraser.
I love your company as always, so thanks so much.
Be back soon.
We will be back soon next Wednesday doing more things, more to film, more games to play. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment and all the usual YouTube-y nonsense that YouTube people like. Look forward to the next one. See you soon.